everyone, it's Jessica, and today I have been crafting with Beach Party, the new paper collection from Close to My Heart. I've already actually made this double page layout here, and I made some really fun backgrounds with some white texture paste and then also some splatters from some gloss spray. You can see those splatters here. And these are actually some pictures just from 4th of July weekend, but I have more from actually the very same afternoon at the same beach. And even using some of Close to My Heart's flip flaps, I just felt like I could not get it on one double page layout. So I have turned to my Make It From Your Heart Volume 5 book, and I'm going to use pattern 16 to create another double page layout that will kind of go just along with this one that I have already made. So I've gone ahead and cut the papers from that Beach Party paper collection into the different sizes that pattern calls for. And I'm just doing a rough layout here of where everything is going to go on my left-hand page, so I can get an idea of where I want to add some more of that fun background texture to my page. And I'm looking at it, and I think probably if this is where, and the photos will be in that blue piece of paper there, I'm thinking I will probably put it maybe like down here in this area right there, and then probably up in the top corner as well, so like right up in that area. And I'm going to adhere those long strips down first, but I'm not going to adhere this photo mat or this cute little sunglasses zip strip just yet, because I want those to go over top of my texture paste, but I want the texture paste to sit on top of these pieces of pattern paper. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm using, this is an older 12 by 12 stencil from Close to My Heart. And it just has, I want to say, 9 different patterns on it, all together. And so they're just little squares. And I'm going to use that same one that I used on my first double page layout. So I'm really trying to mimic some of the things I had done before, just so that they feel cohesive, and that it's, even though it's 4 pages, it's really all meant to kind of be like one layout together. So I'm grabbing some of that texture paste with my palette knife, and then this is really, I've said this before, if you've ever seen any other videos where I've used this, it just feels like you're frosting something. You just kind of spread it on with the palette knife. It's very easy to do, and you can make it as thin or as thick as you want to. I'm actually going to go over this and cover it pretty well, and then I'm going to come over a second time and just kind of tap my palette knife down a little bit to not have it be like a smooth, even finish all the way across. I want it to have a little bit more texture and kind of some uneven roughness to the final product. So you can see here I'm just kind of, here and there kind of tapping my palette knife a little bit, roughing up some of that smoothness, and then I will pull all of this off. I had to mask quite a bit with some sticky notes just to make sure I didn't accidentally get too crazy with my texture paste there and get it, places I didn't want it to go. So I'm just pulling those masks off, and then I will use my palette knife to scrape off a little bit of that excess that I have there still on the stencil, because that's still perfectly usable. Getting this up here off my all-purpose mat, which makes it really easy to clean up. And then I'm going to put the lid back on so that while I'm kind of switching spots here, so that that doesn't start to dry out, because it does dry pretty quickly, which is nice as far as moving on with your project, but a little bit, worrisome as you are working on your project. You definitely want to keep that lid closed as much as possible while you're working on this. So again, just kind of repeating that same process over here in the other part of my page, and again kind of making it so that it's definitely like rough and uneven. Grab a little bit more if I need it. This is really a fun thing to do. It just adds like a really subtle texture to the background of your page, and like I said, I'm going to have my more paper sitting over top of it, so it just kind of peeks out from underneath. And honestly, I don't think that I reach for my texture paste as often as I should, because it is pretty simple to do, and it does have a really fun look to it. So I highly recommend it if you haven't tried it before. All right, so here I have gone ahead and done, this is the right-hand side of my double page layout. I've done the same thing, and I've given it a little bit of time to dry. And now I'm going to add the second part of my background, which is creating some splatters with this gloss spray in the night color. If you've watched any of my other videos, you've seen me do this lots of times before. I just unscrew it, and then I tap against that nozzle, and it creates some splatters. I should probably spray with this sometime soon because it is a gloss spray, but I usually just splatter with it rather than spray, but both are fun. So just kind of creating some splatters, and these do dry very, very quickly. But again, doing this on top of my all-purpose mat, it's a breeze to clean up. That way I can just use like a baby wipe or something and wipe that right up. Okay, so here they are, all completed and dried. Isn't that so fun? I like that zigzag chevron. It kind of reminds me of Waze, which is perfect since it's going for that beach party paper collection. And then these are some photos from a beach. This is, like I said, just actually a few weeks ago over 4th of July. The pictures turned out so cute that I just couldn't wait to scrapbook them, so I printed them right away. And we were up in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. My parents have a cabin on Whitefish Bay. If you have ever heard the song, the Edmund Fitzgerald, then that's basically the general area where we were. We were at Whitefish Point. There is a lighthouse there, and the Shipwreck Museum for the Great Lakes. And in fact, the bell from the Edmund Fitzgerald is on display there. So it's a really cool place, very beautiful up on the North Shore there, and just a few miles down the road from the cabin. And so we love to go there and kind of hunt around the beach for pretty rocks. And it was a beautiful day. The black flies weren't really out, so it was just really beautiful. And between my kids and my nieces, we just got some really fun photos. So like I said, so many that even with these flip-flaps here, I couldn't fit them all on one double page. So I am going to pull in a couple of flip-flaps though. And if you're not familiar with those, this is a product that Close to My Heart carries, and basically it does just that. It flips and it flaps. It's a way to add three photos in the real estate of one photo. So I'm just kind of playing around with the placement here. I think because the flip flap that I have is the one that opens to that side, I'm going to put these over here. So I do kind of like to put my photo in first so I can get a good idea of where I'm going to need to adhere this down. And then that strip there is just a backing on the adhesive. And you pull it off and then you stick it down to the page. So I just want to see first, because that adhesive is very, very sticky. And once I go to put it down, that's where it's going to go. So I did notice that when I line up my photo where I want it to be, that the edge of that flip flap actually just matches up perfectly with the edge of that blue cardstock. So that's going to be really easy for getting the placement down. And just kind of lining up the bottom here. I know exactly where the side needs to go. And then stick that down, like I said, very carefully, because that's where it's going to stay forever. And then I usually like to run my finger over it a little bit to really burnish it down. And there we go. And so now I can add another photo to the back side of that flip flap and then one underneath. Later when I go to put this in an album, I will just cut a slit in my page protector, and then that flip flap will sit on the outside of my album. So then this will go down here. And now I was able to work in 3 photos instead of just one in that place. So there we go, flips and flaps. So fun, I love using those. All right, now over here on my right-hand side for this page, I'm gonna do another flip flap, so same thing. I'm just kind of looking at where I need to stick this down. I'm gonna do the same process. This photo, I accidentally printed the wrong one. I printed one of my photos twice instead of getting the other one of my son that I wanted. So I just am using a photo placeholder here with a little note to myself of which one I need to print. That's why that one is like that. But again, just kind of figuring out when I put this down, exactly where does it need to go. And then I realized, you know what I could do is actually tuck that adhesive strip from my flip flap behind my cardstock. So I gently pull it up and kind of fuss with it a little bit. So that way it can just slide underneath. And that adhesive strip is clear. You can see it just a tiny little bit, but if I can, I do generally like to try to put something over top of it where possible, just to hide it a little bit more. Okay, now I'm keeping this particular double page very simple as far as embellishments, just because I've already added a lot of fun textures. And I have that first set of double pages that has the journaling on it and really the title, so I don't feel like I need to do those things on these pages. So I'm just going to grab a couple of stickers off the coordinating sticker sheet. I like this one. It says my happy place, and definitely the cabin up in the UP is our happy place. And then I'm looking in here to see what else I could include. I do like this cute little van with the surfboard on top. Obviously, we're not surfing up in Lake Superior, but my son is obsessed with anything that has wheels, and so I thought he would get a kick out of having that little bus on this page. So I'm going to put that down here. Thinking about it, but it's going to go right there. Go for it, Joss, put it down. And then I also grabbed those sunglasses and popped them up on foam tape and stuck them with that My Happy Place in the top left-hand corner. And then this little ticket is cute. I'm going to use my anti-static pouch to remove the adhesive from the back so that I can put some foam tape on the back of it. And I like to do that, taking the stickiness off of it. Just that way, if I don't completely cover it in foam tape, when the pages get squished together in my book, it doesn't get like part of it stuck to the page and the other half popped up on foam. Hopefully that makes sense. So here we go, I'm all done. So let's go ahead and back to the original double page that I made first. And like I said, here's where the journaling and the title are, so I don't need to do that here. These ones just really simple, just created the same background that I did before, added a few stickers, a few flip flaps, and 4 pages to get all of these cute photos on, but that's okay. I like it. I love this beach party page or paper collection from Close to My Heart. And so I will leave some links down below to everything that I use. So if you see anything that you are loving as well, feel free to check it out. And I'll leave you with a couple of still shots here. You can see that fun texture paste. See how it's kind of like uneven and rough? That's the look I was going for. And that fun little surfing bus, love it. Endless summer. I wish, I already feel like the clock is ticking towards the beginning of the school year, but we're enjoying those sunny days while we can. So here we go. This actually, I love that sticker that has the signpost with the paradise because we are actually in the town of Paradise. How perfect. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day. Happy crafting. Bye.